evening. Welcome to Film Forum, Atlanta's newest movie talk show where we'll be reviewing the latest films and keeping you in touch with the film industry here in Georgia. I'm Steve Markos, your host each and every week, and along with me is Aron Siegel. How you doing tonight, Aron?
I'm doing fine, Steve. How you doing?
We had a close call there tonight, didn't we?
Sure did.
We just got back from seeing one of the films we're going to review tonight. And, Aron, what have we got for him tonight, by the way?
Well, we've got Passenger 57 and we've got Waterland.
All right. And when we come back from that, we'll be doing Critics' Choice. This week we'll be telling you our top 3 romantic comedy movies. And then, towards the end of the show, about the last third, we have a very special guest. And, again, Aron is in the guest department, so who's coming on today?
We have Tuttle. He's an art director for some films locally, and we're going to have him on later on.
All right, well, that sounds great. So I guess we might as well get started here. And you take it away with Passenger 57.
Okay. Passenger 57 stars Wesley Snipes and was directed by Kevin Hooks. You might remember Kevin Hooks from last year's film, Strictly Business. The film also stars Bruce Payne and Tom Sizemore. And you might remember Bruce Payne from Switch. He was the devil in Switch, and he was also in Absolute Beginners. The film involves the FBI transporting a hijack criminal that has been chained or handcuffed or whatever onto a plane to take him to prison. And Wesley Snipes is the chief of security of an airline company. I believe it's Atlantic Airlines, and they're taking this passenger and there's a conspiracy of some sorts, and the plane ends up getting hijacked again. Well, Wesley Snipes comes to the rescue and is able to help remedy the situation. And what we've got right now is a clip from the film where Wesley Snipes has just been made aware that the plane is being hijacked. And if we can go to the clip now.
Come on. Hello. Look, I got an emergency. My name is John Cutter. Cutter. Yes, I need Slider Vecchio. I don't know how to spell his name. D-E-L Vecchio.
Gary's Pino's number is going to get you consolidated.
Yeah, Vecchio, there's a call for you on 24.
Excuse me. Who is it?
John Cutter.
Oh, great. Cutter, you there?
Cutter! You! Back to your seat, now!
Oh, please, I don't want to die. Please don't shoot me. I don't want to die.
I said!
Come to your seat, Father, why heaven? Oh, they're taking over the plane.
Sly, I can't get anybody.
Get everybody up here for an emergency meeting right now.
Now!
Yeah. Sweet Jesus, they're taking over the plane.
How many?
That was a scene from a film we just got back from, right?
Right. That's a scene from Passenger 57 with Wesley Snipes, Bruce Payne, and Tom Sizemore.
What did you think of this movie, Aron?
Oh, I don't know. It's like it's very much like the Die Hard kind of films, and it kind of like the old airline disaster movies too. It's got a lot of action in it. A lot of people get shot up, and there's a lot of explosions.
Too much senseless violence. To me, the Die Hard films are a lot better because I like the character that Alan Rickman played, and these characters seemed a little bit too cardboard, and it's like we've seen them all before to me. The bad guy in this was trying to be cool and suave like Alan Rickman, but he just wasn't Alan Rickman as far as Die Hard.
It's Bruce Payne, and he plays a character called Rain, and they give him lines like how do you like your staying? Bloody.
Yeah, just too cool and stuff. To me, the characters are cardboard. It seemed like a movie that was more concerned about giving Wesley Snipes a star-type vehicle than it really cared about the story. And it's one of these movies where you've seen it all before, really. Die Hard's been better. The one thing that I was looking forward to seeing was, here's this movie in an airplane. How's this guy going to sneak around? What's he going to do, shoot someone and hide out in the bathroom and then sneak up to first class? I was wondering how they're going to pull this movie off. It turns out that after just a little bit in the air, the plane lands on the ground and some of the action goes out into the a fairground and stuff. So I didn't think they could keep it up in the air the whole time, and they don't. So like I said, you've seen it all before to me, and I don't know. I've seen better.
Well, I enjoyed it. I mean, it's not something I would walk out on.
For an action,
I think with
no brains action adventure, it probably serves its purpose.
With Under Siege coming out a couple of weeks ago, whatever else, I think that they're trying to capitalize on this.
They had to be making this movie long before that.
Well,
So.
I think that one studio says to the other one, "Oh, well, gee, what are you working on?" And or it probably leaks out. So
That's probably the case.
from what I heard tonight, Die Hard 3 was canceled because, or not canceled, but it has to be rewritten because of the same type of thing. Under Siege capitalized on what their plot was.
Yeah, well, like I said, it's a movie you've seen before, a low brain action adventure. You probably enjoy it. I'm going to have to give the movie. How many stars do you give it first?
Okay, probably 2 stars. What about you?
2 stars. I'd say 1 star.
So one and a half stars.
It's too mundane. All right, now I guess we'll get on to our next film, Waterland. Waterland is based on a novel by Graham Swift and stars Academy Award-winning actor Jeremy Irons, who plays he is an Englishman who's teaching high school history in Pittsburgh. Once we get in the movie, we find out a lot of his history lessons are based around him telling stories of his childhood when he grew up in England back in the 40s. A few of the stories even go back a little bit further to the early 1900s with his grandfather and his father. So we get to see a little history of the entire family here. And you say, well, why is he doing this? There are a couple of reasons. Number one, he's trying to get in with the kids, trying to show them that he was once a kid too. He's a cool guy. Some of his stories are based around his early sexual exploits. So he's trying to win the approval of his students. He's also trying to tie all his stories into history lessons so that he can fulfill his duties as a teacher. And that's what he's trying to lead these students to believe. However, deep down inside, we know he's really telling these stories to get something off his chest. He's really trying to get in touch with his life by reliving his past. And maybe trying to forget some of the bad times that are going on in his life in the present. So he's not really sharing his life with his students as much as he's really doing it for a selfish reason. We're going to go to a clip right now. One of the stories when he has a flashback. In this, we have a little movie magic. He takes the entire class back. So I believe around the beginning of World War I, when his grandfather has come up with a super-duper alcoholic beer, and the whole town is drunk, and there's a riot. So let's take a look at this.
For war, glory, and profit is crowning its new king, George V.
Mr. Quick, they're all drunk.
So they are, Bates. It's my grandfather's revenge. Remember the beer he was brewing? He's giving it away today. Thousands of bottles of the stuff. Atkinson's Coronation Ale, a beer so powerful, it shows these people up for what they really are. Flying fools. Just one bottle will do it. Shouldn't you remember something else? Within 3 years, these people are going to get exactly what they want. The war to end all wars. All right, everybody, back here in 1 hour. Okay, don't get lost. 1 hour exactly. Are you listening at the back? We'll be back here in an hour. Bates, you hear that?
Heard you.
Yeah, Marshal, don't get lost, all right? Do your best.
Can I see us, Mr. Crick?
I think some of them can't see anything, Judy.
Come on in, darling.
All right, this is a movie that will be coming out this Friday along with Passenger 57. This is a movie I loved, and I don't know why. It's one of these movies I couldn't put my finger on why I love this movie so much, but I think it's the feeling that it gave me.
Well, Jeremy Irons' character in this film is just so wonderful.
He's a great actor. Academy Award winner for
what was it, Reversal of Fortune. And he's just an incredible actor, and the script was written very well. These are things that you would expect for people to say. They're not just campy lines.
Yeah, like I said, the thing that I liked about it was the feeling it gave me. It kind of subdued me, relaxed me. It's a film you could go in the theater and just sit down and relax. And
it took you on a different trip.
Yeah, just kind of coast on through it. And what I loved about it, when they went to England, I felt like I was back in England. When they went back to this 1919, I felt like I was back there. It was like going to Disneyland when you're in Frontierland and you feel like you're there.
Because Jeremy Irons was narrating the whole story, and everybody felt part of the film.
And it was a great story. This guy is not a exciting person. He's a history teacher, but his stories are interesting. It's kind of like, I'm sure you have one in your life, and everyone's got a person in their life.
Somebody that stimulates
you. Yeah, your mom or your grandma, where you're always saying, tell me a story, Grandma, and you want to sit there and listen to, tell me the way it was in the old days, et cetera, et cetera. That's like Jeremy Irons. Tell me about your retarded brother, Jeremy. Tell me about your sex the first time you had. Oh, it was on a train? Tell me a little more. You really enjoy his stories, and that's what the movie is. It's a story. It's a story about telling stories.
Okay, so what do you want to give this film, Steve?
I love the film. I'm going to give it 4 stars. I think it was, like I said, well-directed, cinematography. It's probably not even a word, but everything about the movie was good and peaceful. It was a peaceful movie, and I loved it.
I'm going to give the film 3 stars.
3 stars. So we're coming out with 3.5 stars on our averaging system here. That movie will be coming out, and it's probably going to be a limited release movie.
So you probably won't see it in our top 10 or anything. So you might want to check this out anyway.
It's your typical movie, your best picture type film. I'm not saying it'll be nominated for best picture, but that's the type of movie it is. Kind of a wonderful film.
We want to remind people that we are a call-in show. If you disagree or if you have a comment about what we have, the number is 873-6713.
As we speak, we have a phone call.
So
Caller, you're on the air.
Hi, yes. I had a question about the Passenger 57 movie.
All right.
Okay.
Steve, you gave a very low rating, and I was just wondering, in your opinion, what it would be a 4-star action-adventure movie?
Die Hard.
Just Die Hard?
Yeah, Die Hard is one of my favorite movies of all time. The thing with Die Hard, the guy could run around so many places. He could hide, he could kill someone, run down another floor. This plane, you're kind of claustrophobic, and you've seen it all before. You've seen the character. They're more cardboard in this movie.
This is a Wesley Snipes vehicle more than anything else.
Yeah, that's what
Die Hard, I agree with Steve. Die Hard was one of the best, what do you call these, disaster with some sort of policeman or terrorist films. Die Hard was a great vehicle for Bruce Willis, and this I would expect would be a good vehicle for Wesley Snipes.
This movie will probably do good. Like I said, it's
funny.
mindless violence. And, another good movie is Die Hard 2, however, when you compare it to the original, it doesn't compare. But if it was like another movie.
And you might also want to check out Under Siege if you haven't seen that yet.
Okay, thank you. But don't you think that the Die Hard movies are a little too far-fetched?
The second one, because it happens again. That's when it gets too far-fetched.
And on Christmas Eve.
The first time it's believable. The second time around, it's just to make a buck. And, but taken as a movie, say it wasn't named Die Hard, say it was named something else, and there was no other original Die Hard, the second one would be a great movie, too.
Okay, well, thank you.
All right.
Thank you.
Now we get on to the Atlanta Top 10.
Okay, we'll go ahead and go with the top 10.
All right.
Starting out at number 10 this week is sneakers. This is this has been in the top 10 for the second week. It's been
forever.
in the top 10
8 weeks
forever.
in the top 10.
For 8
this
weeks
was on the first show we had.
So it's number 10 for the second week in a row. And number 9 is Mr. Baseball. It falls from number 8. And number 8 is Mighty Ducks. It drops 1 place. Number 7 is Dr. Giggles. It also drops 1 place to number 7.
Like everything's dropping down 1 place this week.
Number 6 is Consenting Adults. It falls 1 notch as well. Number 5 is Pure Country. That falls from number 3.
Still holding up well here in the Atlanta area because of the country fans.
And number 4 is Last of the Mohicans. It holds steady at number 4. It's a 6 week in top 5.
Yeah, that's a surprise hit to me. I didn't think it would do that well. That's one of the blockbusters of the
year. It's doing real well. Number 3 is A River Runs Through It. That's the Robert Redford directorial.
And believe it or not, the first week it came out, it wasn't in the top 10.
That's true. It's
and all of a sudden,
time.
2 weeks later, it's number 3. So something sounds fishy.
Publicity has caught up with it. Number 2 is Candyman for the second week in a row.
And that's getting a lot of good reviews, and I think that's why it stayed at number 2. Dr. Giggles, I think, is going to fall out really quick.
I hope
Candyman
so.
will stay in there for a while.
Number 1 is Under Siege for the 4th week at number 1.
All right. And now, on to our Critics' Choice. This week, as every week, we review a genre category. This week, we're doing romantic comedies, and Aaron's going to tell you his top 3.
Okay, for romantic comedies, my number 1 romantic comedy is Lovesick. This was directed by Marshall Brickman and stars Dudley Moore and Elizabeth McGovern. And I looked this one up and to check to see what Leonard Maltin felt about it and everything else. It's classified specifically as a romantic comedy, and it's got all the elements, I guess, of a romantic comedy. It's got all sorts of romantic innuendo and such. Dudley Moore plays a psychiatrist, and Elizabeth McGovern is a new patient who has just been referred from another doctor. And that's about all I can say about Lovesick. I want to go into number 2, which is Defending Your Life. Came out last year. Was directed by Albert Brooks. Stars Albert Brooks and Meryl Streep. This is like her 3rd comedy role now, and she's been doing real well with them. Defending Your Life involves Albert Brooks, where he's killed in an automobile accident and has to defend his right to move on to better things instead of being recycled and moved back to Earth. Number 3 on my top 3 of Critics' Choice romantic comedies is the 1957 film directed by Walter Lang. It's called Desk Set. It stars Spencer Tracy and Katharine Hepburn. This is the definition of romantic comedy because Katharine Hepburn is working as a source, a reference source, a phone reference source for a network, and Spencer Tracy is an efficiency expert that tells her that the lighting in the room, if she's left-handed, needs to be on a different side of the room. And it's very good. You might want to check this out. It's available in your video stores. It's called Desk Set. Those are my top 3. What about yours, Steve?
All right. My favorite romantic comedies, number 1, Broadcast News, nominated for 7 Academy Awards, including Best Picture. All the major actors got nominations. William Hurt for actor, Albert Brooks for supporting actor, Holly Hunter for actress, and I'm going to say it now, she was screwed over by the Academy when they gave Cher the award. She did the best job of actressing that I've ever seen. I love the movie for 2 reasons. Number 1, the insights into TV news. Once you see this movie, you never watch TV news again with the same type of light. The magic's taken away. When something happens, you say, oh, well, I know how they did that, and I know how they do that. But I also love the realism of the relationships, because so many, in this movie, Holly Hunter is in love with William Hurt. William Hurt's kind of out in left field. Albert Brooks loves Holly Hunter. And you say to yourself, well, she'll end up with him, and he'll end up doing this, blah, blah, blah. And then they have 2 years later, it comes back, and you find out that they've all gone their separate ways. Albert Brooks has got a couple little curly-headed kids. William Hurt's married some bimbo. Holly Hunter's still off on her own. It's the way in your own life, when you might have had a relationship. Oh, I'll marry this girl. He'll marry her, blah, blah, blah. And you go to your class reunion 5 years later. You find out this guy's divorced. This guy's gay. This girl's done this. Nothing works out the way you think it would, and that's why I love it. Number 2 is Arthur. And this is a character-driven film starring Dudley Moore. I believe Dudley Moore's only good movie he's ever made. He was nominated for Academy Award. And the movie was nominated for 4 awards. One, John Gielgud, I believe. Is that how you say it? Gielgud. One for supporting actor. It also won for the best best song, Arthur's theme, The Best That You Can Do. This is a movie that I love because it plays to the male fantasies and female fantasies. The male fantasy of a rich millionaire guy being like a bum. A lot of people say, if I was a millionaire, I'd be a bum. I'd just be an average guy. And it does that. Plus, I think a great male fantasy is to be a millionaire and to be able to bring joy to the life of a common woman, maybe on the lower economic scale. Trying to be like the Santa Claus, I think, makes people feel good. At the same time, the women fantasy of a millionaire coming into their life, and not to be a male chauvinist pig to say that's a female fantasy. As a male, I'd love for a millionaire woman to come into my life. So I think that's why the movie captured so many people's attention and is a great comedy. And also, number 3, Coming to America, another star-driven or character-driven film with Eddie Murphy and Arsenio Hall. Arsenio's great. Eddie's just a lovable character as a prince who comes over to America and posing as a poor exchange student, trying to find a girl who loves him for who he is. And I believe it takes the Arthur fantasy just a step further. Not only is the millionaire trying to get this regular girl, but he's now posing as a poverty-stricken person. And I think that's kind of fun to be able to see who's really going to love you. This movie went into some litigation when Art Buchwald sued Paramount for stealing his story, and he won. The only thing is, when he won, they said, all right, you're going to get your cut that they promised you in the beginning if they made this movie. Paramount's claiming, hey, well, we lost $18 million. That's a bunch of crap. And as the accountants found out after the judge threw out Paramount's accounting system, found out the movie made $32 million. And it's probably made a lot more on video sales. Art Buchwald only got $900,000. They spent $2 million in lawyers' costs. So that was last May. It's in appeals again. So that's another great film I love, and that's probably the funniest one. Another thing, Eddie and Arsenio play a lot of different characters and makeup. You can't even find out who they are, and it's kind of fun to pick out who's who. And at the end, if you haven't found out the credits, they show what other characters they played, as well as their two main characters. And those are my favorite romantic comedies.
Okay.
All right, now we're on to the...
Well, why don't we go ahead and give the phone number out again, just in case?
873-6713. And now we're going to go on to our video releases that are coming up. And this month, let me see what we got, or this week, I should say, coming out. We have
Deep Cover. We've got
Far and Away
Far
with
and Away,
Tom Cruise and Nicole Kidman, which was a Ron Howard film. Supposedly pretty good romance movie.
Very long, too.
Yeah. And K2, which is, I believe, a mountain climbing type film. Action adventure where they're trying to climb a mountain, the second highest mountain, I believe, not Mount Everest. And on pay-per-view this week, we have The Lawnmower Man, which was on last week, I believe. Lawnmower Man, the Stephen King movie. I saw the film, and the thing I didn't like too much about it was that you wanted to see the guy get smart, and you keep waiting for that to happen. It takes forever to do that.
Kind of a combination of Charlie and Frankenstein.
But you know what's going to happen. You know that you want to see the guy get smart, and it goes on forever. Also, My Cousin Vinny, which I saw last week, that movie never really got off the ground for me. I thought it had all the potential.
I love this film.
I thought it had all the potential, but it was lacking something. I couldn't put my finger on it. 11 Days, 11 Nights 2. I guess that one snuck up on us because 11 Days, 11 Nights was such a popular film, right?
Right.
they made a 2 out of it. And Gladiator is also on. And that's what's on pay-per-view. Check Channel 34 for times and costs. And now we're back with our guest.
Right. Okay. Each week on Film Forum, we have a special guest. This week is no different. We have Guy Tuttle. He's an art director, and he's joining us on the program right now. And we'd like to welcome Guy to the show.
How you doing, Guy?
Thanks for inviting me.
All right.
Good to see y'all tonight.
Now, we've had, in the past, a set designer on and a prop person.
So why don't you tell us
what
an art director does?
Art director actually is the person responsible for accomplishing the designs. A lot of times there'll be a set designer or a production designer who will come up with a concept and a picture of what he wants to do. Art director is primarily responsible for taking that and making it reality, making it into a three-dimensional piece of wall or a floor or a actual physical thing in front of the camera.
So he may be kind of like, as the producer is to a movie, the art director is to
the production designer.
Kind of oversees everything.
Yeah, there are a lot of other responsibilities the art director has. He's usually responsible for budgets for the production designer, takes care of a lot of the paperwork and a lot of the administrative capabilities. The other thing, he will a lot of times resource a lot of the things that the design requires, whether it's buying certain kind of materials or finding certain things. Also, a lot of times the art director will work to take on a lot of the more mundane tasks that a production designer may not have time for as he's dealing with locations and other things, to make sure that things are functioning smooth for the production and to deal with the prop people, costumers, the other artistic people on the show to make sure it's all coordinated. So in some respects it can be an administrative position, in other respects it can be an actual creative position where you're actually sitting down on a drafting table, doing the drawings for the show, taking the designs and turning them into things that can be really built.
So you actually oversee a lot of the production that goes on, the wardrobe, the makeup, and
it's more interfacing with them. It's trying to make sure that everybody's coming up with a consistent look and a consistent package. In smaller films, there may not be a production designer, and there is only an art director who's actually responsible for it. But in more and more cases now, there's actually, because films have gotten so big, you really need one or more art directors to handle certain phases of what may be parts of the production that get too big for one person to handle.
How did you go about getting into this? If someone will say, I like to get into film, art director, what are some things to do?
I came up sort of through the ranks. I started out as a prop master, worked as a prop master for about 4 or 5 years. I'd always done theater design and was very comfortable doing design work. Then as I found that I liked doing other things besides just doing props, I worked more and more doing designs, and eventually just got a reputation for being able to turn those, to be able to perform for people that way, and people started calling me to do that kind of work. I've worked a lot in television here locally in Atlanta. I run a scene shop here called Special Projects and been in business for about 12 years, and that's given me a real good background, a real solid background for doing the kind of things in film that I'm now able to do and getting work doing.
Okay, we've got a phone call here. Let's go ahead and take the phone call and find out what the question or comment is for our guest. Go ahead, caller.
Yes. I'm sorry, I was trying to get in before, but the line was busy. I just wanted to mention one of my favorite romantic comedies. Did you ever see Pillow Talk?
No, I sure didn't.
What about you?
Pillow Talk's Rock Hudson
and Doris
Rock
Day.
Hudson and Doris Day.
And it won the Best Movie Award.
It's a pretty classic romantic comedy too. One of those from the, I guess it's late 50s or early 60s. It's a real period piece. It's a study in that kind of time frame that is pretty good.
What did you think of the art direction on the film?
It's been a long time since I've seen it, but those were so typically American. They're better now as studies of the period, and in art direction, they're great for that. I mean, older movies really tell you a lot about periods. I did a 60s movie just back 3 months ago called Deadly Relations, and we had to do a lot of research for periods, and those kind of things are very valuable for it.
Well, thank you for calling.
Thank you, caller.
And how about Ghost?
That was all right as well.
Whoopi Goldberg was fantastic.
This is true.
I never got much in the hype of that movie, but it was good. Thanks for calling.
Thank you.
All right, getting back. Where were we?
Okay. How do you get started doing art directing? You said you started with props. How would somebody in the Atlanta area get started with?
Is there any training? I mean, is there schooling?
There is schooling. Set design is always a good place to start, and working in theaters, because there's a lot more opportunity to really do work and turn things into reality. The other thing,
I had a friend who went to San Francisco University that majored in set design.
right? The other thing is to really work in an art department. Trying to find a film. There are a lot of low-budget films, a lot of television projects. Television's a good training ground for film. There's more opportunity to work the things that even you've had to do here, which is coming up with a floor and a platform and posters and shopping it and doing it, is all part of the art direction of what it really takes. Getting started there is a good way to give you a background in the breadth that it takes to cover as you move into films, which are pretty in-depth.
One quick question before we wrap up. Any films you're working on now, or
I'm working on a small feature right now, a low-budget feature here in Atlanta called Midnight Edition. It's being done by a guy who was originally from Atlanta named Howard Leboff. We're going to start filming November 20th. We're going to be shooting in McDonough and out in Austell. It's very low budget, but it's fun. I'm getting the opportunity to be a production designer on it, so I'm handling sort of a couple of hats doing it. They've cast Will Patton, who was in No Way Out, as the lead in it, and it's going to be a fun project. Pretty tough to do, though.
We'll be looking for that one.
Good.
Thanks for coming on.
Thank you. I enjoyed it.
Okay, join us here next Wednesday night on Film Forum, when we'll have 2 new feature releases. Our Critics' Choice is going to be con men movies. And we'll be having on a casting director that does principals and extra roles. So you might want to tune in next week. That's at 10 p.m. here on Cable Channel 12 for Film Forum.
All right, thanks for joining us.